For Hype Plus News, it's your boy K-Rock. There are three sides to every story: his story, her side, and the truth. But for Orlando Brown, there's a fourth side that he claims has painted an unfair, often exaggerated depiction of him, and that's the mainstream media. For years, Brown has been in and out of the blogs for saying outlandish things, getting arrested, and being addicted to drugs. But after being sober, Brown is claiming that many of the stories that depicted him as a child star turned drug addict were dragged out and was simply a deflection of his attempt to out Hollywood. But with so many different stories circulating about the childhood star, it leaves people wondering, is Orlando Brown really crazy, or is it just the media's attempt to get people to disregard his conspiracies? Orlando Brown started his career at 8 years old, making his acting debut as Cadet Kevin Tiger Dune in Major Payne. The film catapulted his career. The following year, he landed a recurring role as 3J Winslow in the hit show Family Matters for his last 2 seasons. When asked about how he got into acting, Brown explained, "They saw the energy and the spirit that I had. It was just a lot of energy. And so my godfather at the time, he passed away. His name is Bobby D. Allen. He came over, saw the energy, and took me to meet a woman by the name of Sharon Berg. And that's how it exploded." He quickly became the go-to kid in Hollywood, landing recurring roles on The Jamie Foxx Show, Moesha, and Two of a Kind. In 2001, he transferred his talents over to Disney as the voice of Sticky Webb on the hit animated sitcom, The Proud Family. At the age of 13, he landed the role of Eddie on That's So Raven, where he stayed for all 4 seasons. That's So Raven will become the first Disney Channel original show to reach 100 episodes. Previously, Disney Channel shows would end after 65 episodes. While filming the show, he even started his music career,
I got the ladies like, oh, child, I need to breathe.
creating his label, Young Star Entertainment. Brown said his dream was always to do music, but he started taking it more seriously after creating his independent label in 2005. When asked about who helped him branch into his music career in an interview on No Jumper, he said, "Well, it was Pimp C, Chad, my bro. Before he passed away, he taught me directly how to run a company, so I really was his little protege." Brown claimed in his interview with No Jumper, he took Pimp C's death pretty hard. He wasn't even the same person after that. The same year of Pimp's passing, the filming of That's So Raven came to an end, and then shortly after that, Brown's life seemed to hit a downward spiral. He began to experiment with crystal meth at the age of 20, both taking it and selling it. When asked about it, Brown said he went on a 2-year binge, and that was the extent of it. The narrative that the media paints about being an addict for years was just a fabrication. When I tell you I experimented, that's literally what I did, is experimented. That's another thing that the media drags out. After kicking his drug addiction, Brown was in the headlines for a series of arrests that started in 2013. When he was arrested for a DUI and failed to attend court-ordered alcohol education classes, resulting in prison time. A few years later, in February of 2016, he was arrested and later charged with domestic battery, obstruction of justice, drug possession with intent to sell, and possession of contraband in jail following a public altercation with his then girlfriend. Brown failed to appear for a scheduled court date in relation to the charges, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. He was ultimately taken into custody in March of 2016 after police were called in response to complaints of a domestic disturbance between Brown and his girlfriend and his girlfriend's mother. As a result, he faced additional charges of domestic battery, drug abuse, and resisting arrest. Following his release, he again failed to appear for a scheduled court date, and another warrant was issued for his arrest. This time, bounty hunters were sent to apprehend Brown, where they found him in a bedroom closet of someone's home wearing only a t-shirt and his boxers. When asked about the incident, Brown said, "My baby mama set me up, man. She was mad. She thought I was dating the lady that was in the house or whatever, so she called the bounty hunters and told them where I was at. It wasn't even no big deal, man. They let me go and dismissed the case and stuff. I ended up going right back. It was fun." Several months later, Brown was arrested for burglary after allegedly breaking into Legends restaurant and venue in Las Vegas and trying to change the locks. The restaurant was owned by singer and Brown's childhood friend, Danny Boy. Reminiscing on the incident, Brown stated, "They bought a restaurant in my name. Somebody had got my social, I had found out about it, and I was a little irate about it. And I was literally about to change the locks, and that was it." Although Brown's arrest was for burglarizing the establishment, a security video released by TMZ showed that he was simply walking around the restaurant and seen trying to change the locks before he covered the security camera with a cloth. Later that year, Orlando entered rehab after the intervention from his friends and family, but he only remained in the program for a week. Shortly after his release, he was photographed walking down the street barefoot carrying a box of wine. Brown appeared in many headlines again in 2016 for his interview on Vlad TV, where he claimed he had sexual relations with his childhood co-star, Raven-Symoné, by referencing a Hanson song, Bop.
She gave me, and then I gave her some. Yeah.
Although the short clip from the over 45-minute long interview seemed to circulate heavy on the internet, Brown felt disrespected by the fact only that part of the interview was being highlighted. I was listening to Hanson in the car. I got out the car, walked into the interview. Then he asked me about the whole joint, and I did the song or whatever. That's what I didn't respect about it, because he chopped up just that and turned it into a meme. It was just foul because I gave him genuine energy and I told him some real stuff, and it was a great first interview, which is why we wanted to do a second one. So by the time the second one came around, I'm a little on guard now, because you done chopped me up and wrung out this one piece of the interview. Everything else was great, but you pissed off my friend. Fast forward to 2018, Brown appeared on the Dr. Phil show after his friend and manager Solomon Barron turned to Dr. Phil for help, saying Brown was obviously delusional. He was homeless and battling mental issues. At that point, Brown had been sober for several years, but his friend feared that he was suffering from after effects of his drug usage. Brown received many concerns about his appearance during the interview as he was wearing yellow cat eye contacts. During the interview, he referred to them as Michael Jackson Thriller eyes. When asked about why he wore the contacts during his Dr. Phil appearance, he said, "I liked contacts at the time. Certain outfits I had contacts for, whatever outfit I was wearing."
But I didn't want to look at this dude, bro, because I knew I didn't need to be there, man. And
I was like, let me just put these in. In addition to his appearance, Brown made several concerning statements saying that Michael Jackson was his father and that his 2-year-old child was still in the belly. Dr. Phil offered to help him check into the Creative Care Treatment Center in Malibu, which Brown refused during his initial sit-down, but later on agreed to. After his treatment, Brown left his legal troubles behind and seemed to be a lot healthier in his public appearance. But more recently, he's been a topic of discussion on social media for his outlandish claims. Like in 2020, he alleged on an Instagram Live that Nick Cannon performed oral sex on him. Although he didn't take the statement back, he did say that Nick and him squashed it. I mean, out of respect for Nick, bro, I'm just gonna leave that alone. We squashed that. You know what I mean? He said, "I'm looking to be able to push the collectiveness. There's strength in numbers. I'm not trying to mess up how that man eat." Brown also went viral in 2022 when he told Funny Marco in an interview that rapper and actor Bow Wow had some bomb-ass pussy.
When's the last time you watched 106 in Park?
last time it was hot when Little Bow Wow was on there.
You got a problem with Lil Bow Wow?
I ain't got a problem with Lil Bow Wow. Lil Bow Wow got some bomb ass pussy.
Brown shook up the internet once again in August of 2022. In an interview with Cam Capone News, he implied with noises and gestures that hip-hop icon Diddy did him a sexual favor.
Yo, Diddy, you gave me the ooshkosh gooshwash. I love it. You gave me the ooshkosh moosh.
With Brown's troubled past, combined with the tendencies to make outlandish claims involving public figures in the entertainment industry, the question still remains, is Orlando Brown really crazy, or does the media want to make it seem that way? With so much fame at such a young age, there are many factors that can contribute to his behavior. In an interview with Vlad TV, his old Family Members cast member, Darius McQuarrie, says this about Brown. "Everybody grew up in a different environment. I'm gonna be real honest. Orlando had a single-parent mother. He came up without a father. So I'm not making excuses for anybody, but all of these things play a factor. It's difficult. Sometimes you get caught up in intoxication of so-called success." Brown himself alluded to a rough childhood outside the Hollywood scene when he said, "Between 5 and 13, that's when I was going to the set and going back to the hood, or wherever it was we could stay." There's no sure way for us to know whether Brown's claims are all fiction, if they're a result of mental illness, or if they are indeed factual. What we do know is that he certainly has a story to tell, and in the Vlad TV interview, Brown pleads for the fans to look deeper into the story before passing judgment. I want you guys to please start looking for more of a wider story. Don't just be so one-sided, because the media is quick to bombard you with a plethora of stories simultaneously. It just so happens to be my name. They leave off my name on a bad note and say they'll be right back, but never do come back, do they? Stay up to date with the latest news and comedy by subscribing here to our YouTube channel. Follow Comedy Hype across all of our social media, and look out for our original content on our new streaming service at comedyhype.com. For Hype Plus, this has been your boy K-Rob.